Hi there, my name's Andrew Dunn. I'm co-host of the Media Lunch Break podcast. This week on the podcast, we're talking about a movie called Masked and Anonymous, which was written by and stars Bob Dylan. I thought it'd be a nice companion video to talk a little bit about my favorite Bob Dylan lyrics. In this video, we're covering numbers 21 through 2. All right, let's do it. Number 21. If my thought dreams could be seen, they'd probably put my head in a guillotine. This is from It's All Right Ma, I'm Only Bleeding. Again, one of my favorites, one of the best songs he's ever written lyrically. This inspires visions of George Orwell's 1984, where the government was punishing people for what they called thought crimes, where if you thought something that was illegal to think, you got hauled away and no one ever saw you again. And in that way, what Dylan is proposing is that even in our normal world, even in our non-Orwellian normal world, if you saw what I was thinking, you'd cut my fucking head off. And I like that message. Number 20. The sun's not yellow. It's chicken. This is from Tombstone Blues. I don't know what it means, but I've always really liked it. The sun's not yellow. It's chicken. Because yellow means scared, as does chicken. He doesn't use the word scared either time. Which is interesting. He could have said the sun's not yellow, it's scared, but he uses two different metaphors to describe the same thing, which is scared. Yellow, yellow-bellied, it means afraid. Chicken means afraid. What are you, chicken? You know. So the sun's not yellow. It's chicken. I just love that wordplay. Number 19. You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. That's from Subterranean Homesick Blues, another one of my favorite songs of his. It's another one of those songs that's really compact but says a lot. And I think what this is saying here is you don't need an expert to understand the way that the world is headed. Like, a weatherman can give you a lot of very specific and important details, but he doesn't have to be there to tell you which way the wind is blowing. You can just step outside and figure that out for yourself. And so while experts are important in my own personal opinion, I do think that you can figure a lot of your own stuff out for yourself, you know? Number 18. I mean no harm, nor put fault on anyone that lives in a vault. This is from It's All Right Ma, I'm Only Bleeding. Yet again, one of my faves. I mean no harm, nor put fault on anyone who lives in a vault. So right out of the gate, he's using a vault as a metaphor for people who shelter themselves and refuse to accept the truth. I mean, it's not a compliment, right? It's a bit of an insult, but he means no harm nor puts fault on those people. But that's what he's doing, right? He's being a little coy there, maybe a little facetious. He's trying to imply that he doesn't mean anything bad by it, but in the same sentence, he's sort of calling them names. I don't know why, but I like that. Number 17. My friends from the prison, they ask unto me, how good does it feel to be free? And I answer them most mysteriously, are birds free from the chains of the skyway? Whew. That's from Ballad in Plain D, which is a gut-wrenching song. It is viscerally told, and it's about a very aggressive, public, and painful breakup. But the very last verse of the entire song, it's very long, and the last verse of the song ends with my friends from the prison. They ask me, you know, it's been so long since I've been incarcerated. What's it like to be out there and be free? And he's saying, I am free, kinda. And he's saying, I'm not free because I don't have the things that I want. Something that I love dearly and I need in order to exist has been taken away from me. So in the same way, I am free. I'm as free as a bird. But are they free from being free? They aren't. I hope it doesn't belittle people who are or have been incarcerated, but I love that allegory. I love how he views freedom. Number 16. You lose yourself, you reappear. You suddenly find you got nothing to fear. This is from It's All Right Ma, I'm Only Bleeding. There's a lot of lyrics from this song in this section. There's another contradiction in this that is interesting. You lose yourself, you reappear. It's almost as though the first line in this, it's broken into 3 individual sentences. The first one practically doesn't matter because as soon as you lose yourself, boom, you reappear. But something has changed within you. Like in that split second between you losing yourself and reappearing, you suddenly find you got nothing to fear. You are fearless. Something has happened in that instance. It's a fantastic visual of immediate change. It gives me hope that if there's something I want to change about myself, I can just do it. Like, how hard could it be? It's just a fucking brain. Just do the right thing, you know? You lose yourself, you reappear, you suddenly find you got nothing to fear. We can do this. We can make it through this. It's very inspirational to me. Number 15. I've been trying to get as far away from myself as I can. This is from the song Things Have Changed, which was written for the movie Wonder Boys. There's something very poetical about trying to remove yourself from yourself. I don't really know what it is, but there's something very romanticized about that. I think there's something very relatable about being able to look at yourself and being like, I don't want to be this anymore. I don't want this. I want to be someone else. I want to get as far away from myself as I can. And it's healthy to feel that way sometimes, as long as you don't feel that way all the time, I think. I mean, I'm not a therapist. I just like how do you even do that? I like that as well. How do you get as far away from yourself as you can? He's trying to. What has he been doing? Has he split himself in half? I don't know. It's an interesting visual. Number 14. Two riders were approaching. The wind began to howl. This is the last line of All Along the Watchtower. I talked briefly about Waiting for Godot earlier in this list, and it applies to here as well. The Nerd Writer has a great video essay on this song, and in it he promotes the theory that this song is cyclical. And in fact, this line being at the end sounds like a mistake, because two riders were approaching, the wind began to howl. That sounds like the beginning of the song, because the Joker and the thief are the two main characters. They're the two riders who are approaching. So this song feels like it goes on forever and ever and ever for eternity. In fact, the instrumental work sort of accompanies, no pun intended, that theory as well. It sounds like a locomotive that's never going to stop, just going and going and going, and it's just never going to end. These people are in purgatory, and the song continues to play over and over again. Their events continue to loop over and over again. It's a beautiful song with a beautiful ending / beginning. Number 13. A brave man will kill you with a sword. A coward with a kiss. This is from the song Gonna Change My Way of Thinking with Mavis Staples. And man, that is a beautiful line and totally true. You know, we think of brave men will rush in with a sword. They'll face you head on. Sort of like stabbing you in the back, right? That a real brave person will tell you how they feel in front of you. They'll tell you exactly what they have to say, and they won't stab you in the back. But a coward will put on a mask for you and will pretend to be your best friend, and then stab you in the back at the best moment. That's what this is saying. A coward will kill you with a kiss. Number 12. Yes, she's gone like the rainbow that shined yesterday, but now she's home beside me, and I'd like her here to stay. She's a lone, forsaken beauty, and she don't trust anyone. I wish I was there beside her, but I'm not there. I'm gone. This is from a very lesser known song of his called I'm Not There. It's probably a little more well known now because there was a movie named after it about Bob Dylan. I'm Not There, if you haven't seen it, is a pretty fantastic film. It takes different versions of Bob Dylan's psyche and sort of different time periods of his life, and has, I believe, 5 different actors, including Cate Blanchett and Richard Gere, and just an all-star cast, Heath Ledger, Christian Bale. It's insane. But it has all these different actors play Bob Dylan in different forms and tell a story. Curiously, it is named after this song. Now, it's interesting to point out as well that in this song, you know, Dylan in his lyrics likes to put contradictions in the same line, right? We've seen that a few times. But this contradicts itself repeatedly. She's gone, like the rainbow that shined yesterday, but now, so she is gone, but also she's home beside me, and I'd like her here to stay. She's alone, forsaken beauty, and she don't trust anyone. I wish I was there beside her, but I'm not there. I'm gone. So like, she's gone, she's here, she's gone, is what these lines say, which is so strange. A lot of this feels like it was not written, but instead improvised. If you listen to it, a lot of the words don't sound like actual words. It sounds like somebody's playing music and he's just sort of making something up on the spot. But it's beautiful, and quite frankly, it's haunting as well if you listen to the song. But I love that lyric. I love the contradiction. Number 11. Stop all this weeping. Swallow your pride. You will not die. It's not poison. This is another line from Tombstone Blues. This is something I have said to people before. Swallow your pride. You won't die. It's not poison. Swallowing your pride, of course, referring to holding yourself accountable, apologizing when you don't think it's your fault, or, it's just putting your own selfish needs aside for someone else or for the greater good. And honestly, a lot of people look at it like it's poison. It is very, very difficult to apologize when you don't think you've done something wrong, but it's so important. You gotta swallow your pride. You will not die. It's not poison. I promise. So does Bob Dylan. You can trust him. Number 10. They'll stone you, and then they'll say you are brave. Absolutely true. This is a line from a song called Rainy Day Women, number 12 and 35. The titles of Dylan's songs are famously totally unrelated to the lyrics in the songs. This is a great example of that. Rainy Day Women, number 12 and 35. The chorus of which just says, everybody must get stoned. Great. Other instances of this are Ballad in Plain D, I Shall Be Free, Subterranean Homesick Blues is a great example. But this line, they'll stone you and then they'll say you're brave. This society, culture, America, the world will beat you down to a bloody pulp. They'll grind your bones and shit you out onto the street. And then they'll say, look how brave that person is for carrying on. Oh, give that person a round of applause. Good for them. Good for them. And then they'll just continue to beat the ever-living shit out of you. It's amazing when you see that sort of thing happen. Stuff like, for example, you see these news articles about children doing a bake sale so that they can pay off their lunch debt for their school cafeteria, Like, you'll see these, they're supposed to be heartwarming. And it's like, look at this gumption on this 8-year-old. Or like they're doing it to like help pay for their classmates' cancer bill, Like, that's not, if that makes you feel good, that's bad. Society will stone you and then applaud you for being brave. 100%. Number 9. I rapped upon a house with a U.S. flag upon display. I said, could you help me out? I got some friends down the way. The man says, get out of here. I'll tear you limb from limb. I said, they refused Jesus too. He said, You're Not Him. This is from Bob Dylan's 115th Dream, and it is it's such a good lyric. Bob Dylan's 115th Dream, again, probably my favorite Dylan song. And this line totally encapsulates my biggest issue with the US. Gandhi famously said, I love your Christ. I do not love your Christians. They're so unlike your Christ. And I'm not generalizing. I'm not saying every Christian is like this. And in fact, I'll say the religion isn't what does it. Every religion has total dickheads, right? And they all preach to be great to people. And those total dickheads will continue to say that they believe in that and that they are doing God's work, and they'll be dickheads to everybody. There are lots of very good people who are in any religion, right? I totally accept that. But there's something very satisfying about somebody saying, no, I'm not going to help you. And then when the other person is like, well, what about Jesus? And the guy's like, well, you're not him. I'd help him. I'd help Jesus, because they're focusing on the man and not on the message, right? And I feel like there are a lot of people who follow certain organized religions who have a similar philosophy, that it is about the entity, the God, the Christ, the Buddha, the Muhammad, Yahweh. I'm not a religious scholar, but they feel like it's about these entities and not about the message of doing the right thing, helping your brother, helping your neighbor, right? And this is a perfect way to show that. The imagery in it is so good. The house has a U.S. flag upon display. They're patriotic, they're religious, and they refuse to help someone in need. Incredible. Number 8. It is not he or she or them or it that you belong to. It's another one from It's All Right Ma, I'm Only Bleeding, and oh, it's good, because it could easily just be, you don't belong to anyone or anything. But instead, it is not he, it is not she, it is not them, and it is not it. You do not belong to literally any. You don't belong to any except yourself. I never forget that. Because it can feel like your boss is in charge of you, your relatives are in charge of you. It can feel like the government is in charge of you, but nobody is in charge of your decisions except for you. You make up your life. You decide what happens in your life. Fuck everything else. Number 7, strike another match. Go start anew. And it's all over now, baby blue. This, of course, is from the song It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. It's an interesting line. Again, another bit of a contradiction. Strike another match. Go start anew. So you're starting something new, but it's all over now, baby blue. So it's over and you're starting it. An argument could be made that it's over now, so start something new, which is also a very optimistic message, but a cynical message could be there as well, which is that it's all over now. You got to start all over again. So I like that it's open to interpretation. It's still beautiful. Strike another match. Go start anew. It's all over now, baby blue. Interesting dichotomy of a red match that has been struck, red fire, and also baby blue. I don't know. There's a lot going on in that line, and it's just one short line. Number 6. All the truth in the world adds up to one big lie. This is another one from Things Have Changed, the song written for the movie Wonder Boys, and I love that line. All the truth in the world adds up to one big lie. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, it's part of the truth that adds up to a big lie, so who the fuck knows? It's a cool line, though. Number 5. I bargained for salvation, and she gave me a lethal dose. I offered up my innocence, I got repaid with scorn. This is from the song Shelter from the Storm, which I think is a mostly underrated song of Bob Dylan's. Most of this song is about a woman offering to shelter him from the weather, from acts of God, from nature. It's a woman reaching out a hand and offering salvation, offering help, offering love. And the singer falls in love with this woman very clearly, the way he describes her. And everything seems like it's going pretty great. He's coming in from the storm. He's getting shelter. But then you get to the end, and he talks about how she sold his clothes and fucked off, and he bargained. He offered his innocence, and he got repaid with scorn. So he put down the chips, and he lost. It's a really interesting twist that happens at the end of this song, and it's one that you might not catch the first few times you listen to it. Number 4. How does it feel to be on your own, with no direction home, a complete unknown, like a rolling stone? This, of course, is the chorus to probably Dylan's most popular song of all time, Like a Rolling Stone, a song that was so popular that people who hated his electric work, they'd go to see him because he switched from folk to electric. The folk fans would go and they'd boo through all of his electric, and then he would start playing this electric song, and everybody would start cheering. And then it would end, and he'd go back to doing the rest of his electric music, and they'd go boo. It's amazing. The zeitgeist around this song, and around this man, actually, in general, is incredible. But this is an interesting lyric, because this song feels like very similar to Positively 4th Street. It feels like it's a song about tearing somebody down and being like, you don't know how it feels. How does it feel to be on your own? How do you like it? But in reality, it's kind of complimentary. It's kind of hopeful. How does it feel to be on your own, with no direction home, a complete unknown, like a rolling stone? For context, the phrase, a rolling stone gathers no moss, is where that comes from. It's good to be a rolling stone. How does it feel to finally be a rolling stone with no ties? Nobody's grabbing you. Nobody wants anything from you. You're on your own. You have no direction. You can do whatever you want. Nobody knows who you are. No one wants anything from you. You are free. You're a blank slate. You can do whatever you want. It's a very interesting song. Number 3, Money Doesn't Talk, It Swears. It's another one from It's All Right Ma, I'm Only Bleeding, and my God, do I relate to that. Oh, man. Money doesn't talk, it swears. There's a very common phrase, money talks, but it talks real loud, and it's very angry when it does. And the people who understand that money talks, they make sure that it swears. I don't really know how else to literally explain that, but man, I feel it in my heart. And that's why it's so high on this list, because it can be very difficult. Number 2, when you got nothing, you got nothing to lose. It's another one from Like a Rolling Stone, and it is a great line. It's absolutely true. It's something I think about. I'm an actor, and it's something I think about before I go out on stage frequently, that if you go out and you just let it happen, then you won't be upset with whatever happens. And yeah, the more you have, the more you got to lose. It's totally true. There's an optimism buried in the cynicism in this line. This song is about being free to finally be who you are and to do the things you want to do. And you can't do that if you're tied down. For example, you can't just move across the country if you have a house full of objects. When you have nothing, you've got nothing to lose. You can just go. Don't have ties to people, ties to things. You are totally free. It's very Buddhist in that way. It's sort of enlightened. It's a lot of sort of Eastern Buddhist imagery in a lot of Dylan's music. So yeah, this has been part 5 of our 101 best Bob Dylan lyrics of all time. Consider checking out our podcast, The Media Lunch Break, and subscribing to our YouTube channel right here and check out some of our videos. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.